Alright, so YouTube says I'm live, so that means I must be live, because YouTube doesn't lie. And so, yeah, this is like, I've hit, it feels like I've hit a milestone, 101 videos. Like, I didn't realize I did that many, to be honest. Like, YouTube is not becoming second nature to me, but like, actually doing the videos it's become a lot easier. Like, I have a massive backlog of stories and like stuff to cover, which is like, yeah, I really just need to start plugging videos. To be honest, there's a lot to be said. I wonder what's causing the audio lag. So I've got notice this time. I was talking to Ellis about it, and he was like, probably like best if I did. So let's go do some side missions, so then I can actually talk about this stuff. Yeah, it's a bag, easy one. 180 spin. So like I've got a video coming out today about 9 o'clock. It's about the Joe Biden, sort of the Democratic hypocrisy around, the allegations against Joe Biden as opposed to what they were talking about with Christine Blasey Ford from I think it was last year. And so, a lot of Democrats were saying at the time, we have to listen to her, believe her and stuff like that. And now suddenly, since Joe Biden's the one being accused, they're like, she's not very credible. She could be a Russian asset. And I'm just like, be consistent. Like people, especially victims or alleged victims of a crime, aren't political pawns for you to use against people. Like if you're either for supporting victims or you're not. Like be one or the other. Well, just the facts of Jameson. Like you can't having your foot in both camps, which makes you look stupid. Because Trump had an attack ad recently, which I might cover. I know Secular Talk covered it. Oh, hello guys. And so he was just saying that he'll it just makes you look stupid. Oh my days, I got hit because so many of the points that you made about listening to Christine Blasey Ford have been flipped right back on you. Oh come on, man, that shield was in your face. Kneel before Zod. Who else wants a piece? Oh, I haven't got the extra thick webs. And so you just look stupid, like, especially because people are like, oh, her story's changing, and all this stuff is like, Kristen Gillibrand, a senator, she ran for president, but no one cares because like she's not that popular. Um, and so she was saying that details change sometimes because obviously it's something that's happened a long time ago. Also, what's her face? Kamala Harris said that 60% of victims don't come forward, and so what that means is that using these arguments of where were you 27 years ago, or where were you when he was VP and all this stuff, it don't make sense. And so the Dems are going to have a very tough time actually doing this. The only option there for them really is to get the FBI to investigate. They get the FBI to investigate what's going on. To try and get like corroborating stories and stuff. The another, I guess, the only option they have a few. The other option is he picks a VP now, and so when he drops out, instead of Bernie becoming the presumptive nominee because he's got the most delegates, you use the VP, and that would be a really underhanded move. But I wouldn't put it past them to do that. Because Pelosi's a wily operator when it comes to dealing with the left. When it comes to dealing with Republicans, she doesn't care because ideologically she's not that far from them, at least on economics. Like their first instincts will always be to bail out big business, and the second instinct for the Dems is to try and appease people slightly, give them just a tiny bit so they don't rebel. And so yeah, it made all the Democrats look stupid, in all honesty. And like Secular Talk was saying that obviously the advert was quite hard hitting, because they used like those clips of Democrats talking about it and stuff like that, and Joe Biden. But it's now because Trump has so many more accusations, it might not land on people. But I think, oh crap.
Not if I'm the one who tests it. Let's see if I can integrate the cloaking tech with my suit. Success! Energy field interferes with my web gadgets. Not exactly a keeper. Uh-oh. Those armed drones are malfunctioning. They're dangerous. And the self-destruct signal's not working from here. But cloaked, I can get close enough to trigger the destruct mechanism. That drone didn't go far. I'll download its data before I wreck it, so they can ID the problem. Okay, get within 10 meters of the drone to stop it. And I'll need to be cloaked. Nailed it. Now I've got to go visible again so I can swing to the others.
Oh, that's gonna be tricky.
Look out.
And so yeah, like I was saying, so I think what Trump's plan is just to try and suppress the vote as much as he can, and so by doing this, this is a smart move in doing so. And like people who say you can't give credit to like cretins like Trump, it's just a bit stupid, to be honest, purely because by looking at the kind of the good things that they do in terms of like from a politics perspective of this is, you know, their strategy. Oh my days, I got hit. Their strategy is smart in this respect. It makes sense to do that. Oh, crap. I need to focus. Give me something to web onto. Is the only thing I really need to learn to do is to multitask. And so I think with the Joe Biden thing, I think that either it gets bad and he steps out, which I doubt it will be, because he's got most of the press on his side. If you think about it, he's got two huge networks in MSBC. Yeah, it is MSBC. MSNBC. I can't. There's a lot of letters. And so MSNBC. Oh yeah, Trump calls it MSNDNC, which is quite funny. And so he's got CNN as well, and obviously he's got like the Times and all that stuff. Trump really has just Fox News and OAN, which they're not that popular.
I'm always breaking stuff.
And so he's very good on Twitter, but Twitter's quite insulated. I mean, it did work for him last time out, to be fair though, so who knows. Turn that off. What is the rest of them? To get some height. Oh. Come on. And so I think that's one topic for today, or covered. So the Joe Biden thing, like the video's coming out at 9 PM, so if you could kindly watch that, that would be good. I'm gonna do like a head-to-head Trump versus Biden kind of video. That should come out soon. And so yeah, that's one thing I'm looking at doing. And so if we move on to like our next topic of the day, which is Cenk Uygur put out a dumb tweet, and this is like low-hanging fruit, I guess. And so he was talking about like how red states are welfare queens and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance in there, anyways, because blue states are net donors on average, like New York and California, whilst I think like I can't remember specifically, but which states, red states were like net recipients. But then you got to take into account that, you know, you got farmland and stuff like that in there, and how much is that really worth? Like how long could New York survive without, you know, food from like, I don't know, like the Midwest or something? Like how much of that could you realistically outsource? Americans love their corn and their like beef and stuff, and so Cenk used language that typically right wingers use, like talking about welfare queens and stuff, and I'm just like, don't do that, because it kind of legitimizes their use of the language, I suppose. Actually, I'm not going to do this on this mission. It took me ages to do. so I'm not very good at it. Have I done all the Fisk headquarters already? Oh. And so, yeah, I don't think that was a very smart move from Cenk, to be honest. And he got a lot of backlash from, I think Emma Vigeland gave him some backlash. She's one of his employees as well. She does really good work when it comes to like going to Trump rallies and asking them questions, and that's when you realise how screwed the American system is and how bad the education system is. So there's that, and obviously Jamie as well from the Majority Report. She went after him a bit. Oh, I can't see it on the map, so I can. And so yeah, that was not a smart move from him, and he also got some backlash off some of his other employees. Like they did a video today. I watched that before, I think about an hour ago, an hour or two, and like they were just talking about like that kind of language exists within racial, has racial underpinnings, and that's why it's best not to use it. Oh, I love these little shop guys, it's so cool. Hello, more guys. Okay, I did not have the desired impact. Oh no, got hit. And so yeah, I think Cenk has like a real arrogance about him sometimes, and I don't really like it that much. Like sometimes I do wonder, like it must be annoying working for a guy like that. Like I've got that kind of streak in me as well sometimes. But like if you have to work with a guy like that on a daily, like it's got to be painful. Where's this last guy at? What's he doing all the way over here? See how much of a big man you are without your little gun, fam. You got nothing. Yeah, that's the only unfortunate thing about creating a power vacuum, Pete. Doesn't end well. Seen that in nation states as well as cities, unfortunately. And so yeah, Cenk Uygur is a bit stupid. Like the fact that he hasn't taken down the tweet and he's like, I won't apologise and all this stuff. Like, come on, man, just delete the tweet and no one's gonna care. It don't make sense. It's like the same people who say like London could go it alone and stuff like that. It's like, no, you couldn't though. No, you couldn't. Ugh. Let's see if I can get the drop on him. Maybe not. Oh, there's a lot of them. I think that rocket launch did more damage on me than it did for them, and it hit them as well. Oh, my days. Alright, you're off the building. Oh my god, they just shot their friend. What the hell was he aiming at? And so yeah, Cenk was just dumb. So I've got a video coming out tomorrow. I recorded it today. I wish I saw the video that they made today, which could have added more stuff to it. So that would have been good, but oh, and it can't be helped. Hello, friend. You must be the last one. And so yeah, that's coming out tomorrow. Piers Morgan said something really stupid as well. He goes, Boris Johnson's response makes Trump look smart. It's like, no, it doesn't, fam. Like, don't be stupid. Like it's just like these guys. They both massively messed up. There's a reason why the UK has the highest death rate in Europe, which I reckon would probably be. I think if Russia tells the truth, I think their death rate's gonna be higher. Purely because they're a much bigger country, and the fact that they're having PPE problems as well. and I'd assume that it's on a mass scale over there. It's just the numbers won't get out, and the fact that recently a doctor fell off a roof, which is code for he was killed off for some reason, fell off a building. So yeah, that happens a lot in Russia apparently. So there's that. But Piers Morgan was just like, "Hello guys, what's up guys?" Oh my, well I didn't see how I was going to get out of that one. Here's a bin. Why would you pistol whip a guy when you have bullets in your gun? Yeah, I'll have that. And so yeah, like the fact that like Piers Morgan feels like it's a smart idea to try and make his boy Boris look better. I know he's got problems with Boris. I mean with Trump even. I think Trump unfollowed him because of criticisms over the bleach thing, because Trump is a massive snowflake. Like he really can't take criticism. Oh, you're still up. You're welcome.
That's it. Everyone okay? Let's fight that
Alright, so Piers Morgan, he's just like, oh, the way Trump's dealt with it is like better than Boris. It's like, no, it's not. You know, it just both like the US has, I think, the highest death rate in the world currently. It's top 60,000, I believe. Actually, let me check if Ellis in the chat. I doubt he is. You never know with Ellis though. He's a wild man. Didn't have my phone out. No, he's not. But I'm sure he'll watch it back like he normally does. Shouts out Ellis. Oops, had my phone on. And so Piers Morgan was like, the thing is, what Piers hasn't realised, or maybe he has, and he's just a propagandist, is he does do good work on occasion. But at the same time, like right now, if you're a government spokesperson like Koonsberg or what's the name, Peston, then you're a massive, like you're going to lose a lot of credibility if you start towing government lines like Peston did with herd immunity. Like that article is still up. Like if I were him, I'd have my own website if I was going to publish dumb stuff. So then at least then you can just delete it and say I made a mistake. But because it's in the Spectator, it's going to be much harder for him to get rid of it. And first of all, him writing in the Spectator is a massive problem in itself. So there's that. Oh, nah, man. What the hell was that? Man trying to use spinning attacks on me. Who do you think you are, Wonder Boy? And so it's just dumb. Like it's a dumb thing to do. You don't need to give someone else credit by. You don't have to give one bad person credit. You know, that's like say, oh, you know, oh crap, I'm bad at coming up with examples on the fly. Oh, screw you, man. So I guess if you say, yeah, you know, president, who's a bad dictator? It's like, oh yeah, Nicolas Maduro is a bad guy, but he hasn't committed a genocide like Prince Salman or well, who's the other one, Xi Jinping, and you're just like, yeah, they're both not very good. They're just terrible, and like. It's just not intelligent. It's just not an intelligent thing to do, to try and say that, oh, you know, but his reaction makes, you know, Trump makes Boris look like a genius, because Trump is trying to force the USA to reopen. He doesn't have an immense amount of power over it, purely because of the way the US is set up. It's set up to avoid an authoritarian, even though they have one, because Trump's used the maximum power that he does have with some extras by essentially destroying the what's it called, man? The Supreme Court and the court structure as a whole, and that's in part because Obama messed up, but that's a whole different thing. And so, Piers Morgan, like, whereas you know, if we talk about per capita, the UK is doing terrible. I think we have some of the highest deaths per capita, especially since we're the sixth biggest economy, and we had a 2-week head start over Italy and Spain, which is embarrassing considering we have a higher death rate than both those countries. And you can argue about like population and all this stuff, right? And population density and all this stuff. But the other thing you remember is Italy's average age, like the average age of their population, is 4 years higher than ours, and Italy do have a lot of older people. And the fact that we still don't know early on how many people actually died from the coronavirus that weren't recorded as proper deaths. The only thing we can really go off is, in part, the excess deaths that we've had. Oh, you're welcome, Yuri.
Good enough that maybe you'd let a certain someone celebrate this?
No.
Fine, but make it quick.
The odds were long, the danger close. But between Spider-Cop's reckless intuition and the Chief's determined planning, they got the job done.
Aw, that's kind of sweet.
A pairing of opposites, like peanut butter and chocolate, or breakfast for dinner. The two work together.
And we're done. Talk to you later, Spider-Cop.
He's coming around, right? Yeah.
Oh, they got the banner and stuff spot on in this game. It's just short. Oh. Oh crap, I need to wear them quick. Oh, too late. Yeah, I've got this drone though. And this, whatever this thing is really dark. Who else wants a piece? Oh crap. Okay, another drone. It is really dark. Do these guys have to wear dark clothing? How did they manage, like, how did all these slugs manage to get up here and this guy? Oh, I really can't be asked to deal with these guys. It's so annoying. Oh, I was going to say, he's so dead.
Live by the beatdown, die by the beatdown.
He did live by the beatdown. And so, yeah, that's the Piers Morgan one. You know, both countries are doing horribly. I guess Trump can, in some ways, get less blame because the governors did goof. But at the same time, it was on him. Like, he called this whole thing a hoax. He snapped at a nurse recently, which is a video I might do, about her complaining that there aren't enough PPE, but, you know, nurses are doing the best that they can in terms of, oh, you know, well, I've had some people have loads of PPE, so much PPE, tremendous amounts, and you're just like, what are you doing? Like, such an idiot. Like, he reminds me of my cousin who's like, whatever you say, he has to argue against you. Like, he just has to. And, yeah, that's what he's like. He snapped at a nurse recently, which I am Spider-Man, you dolt.
Worse than Fisk ever was.
Damn it. You said that was your last joke. Get a new joke, Pete. Crap, nothing out. So that's the Piers Morgan one, and oh my days, I'm getting absolutely smashed. Not my intended target there, but boom. I think the trick to this game is just fighting people by walls and stuff. I say after getting like shot at 10 times. Just staying mobile, I guess. Here's a bin. And you're down. No reloads for you, my friend. And that was a bomb.
Fisk is a maniac. He loved New York.
Just wanna what? You were interrupted. So there's another video I was thinking of doing. Theresa May also made one smart, well, say smart, one decent thing and one stupid thing. So if we go over the decent thing first because it's shorter. So she talked about how, what was it, domestic abuse and things like that need to be taken into account during the lockdown. I think she tried really desperately to get a domestic abuse bill passed, but the problem was obviously Brexit. I mean, she could have done it realistically if she wasn't so monumentally incompetent. But yeah, she was talking about that recently. I think in Parliament, well, not on video call, obviously. And so, picture's terrible. And so yeah, so that was I guess the decent thing she was talking about. Because obviously domestic abuse is a bigger problem now than it was before. Because obviously, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to do my best not to make excuses for anyone here. Obviously, because people have more time with their partners now, it's much harder to get help. Because where are you supposed to go? A lot of the helplines wouldn't be as open as they were. I'm not sure what the situation is like with any of the places that would generally help. And so yeah, I've seen some stories come out and say it's because of the lockdown, everyone's stressed out. It's like you put your hands on someone, I don't care how stressed you are, you don't throw hands at someone. It's just something you just don't do. And so obviously obviously domestic abuse is on the rise massively. I think a lot more people will die in part because of this. I think it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be very, very bad. Just gotta reply to someone quickly. And so we'll go do a main mission now. And so look, it's positive if she's trying to actually help. But the real question is, are you gonna put the money on the table, or are you just gonna be like, these are the numbers you can call and stuff like that. I know Victoria Derbyshire, she wrote the phone number on her hand, try and help abuse victims out. But at the same time, all these things like code words and stuff, I don't know how much they'll help. But I know that they have to put in more funding for abuse victims. They have to give them a place essentially to live and figure out their lives, I guess, especially if the other person is the provider as well. That's where you can get a lot of problems. Because if you're financially dependent on someone, then it makes it much harder for you to leave. And so, are you going to help people who are financially dependent on someone, the abuser specifically, or are you just going to be like, we need to do something about this, and be like, what are you going to do about it is stuff. So yeah, I need to maybe if I look into the specifics of the of what she was talking about. In the video, I'll do that. Sorry, I'm just tired. This time of the day really gets to me. I just can't eat anything still, and I don't drink coffee anymore. Hello, friend. And so I guess that's the good thing. And so at least she's trying to do something. And so I have to I think. You should do your best to give credit where it's due, even if it is a despicable human being like Theresa May. So if we go to I guess the next Theresa May video that I'm going to be trying to do this week is her complaining about the fact that nation states haven't bound together to come up with a vaccine, and I'm just like, you're mad at xenophobia and all that stuff. You're mad that countries aren't coming together to help each other out to come up with a vaccine, right? You're the person who made the Go Home bans. You're the person who pushed rampant xenophobia into the country. You're the one who tried to move away from an institution in the EU which would have helped create a vaccine, which has some of the top scientists in the world and facilities in the world in order to create a vaccine. And you wanted to walk away from that. You know, Brexit means Brexit. No deal is better than a bad deal. All that rubbish. And now you're mad. Nationalism has gotten in the way when you're one of the ones who pushed nationalism. So I don't like. That's what I mean. Like people like me are they're just silly. Because you try to turn Britain into a country which wants to do it on their own. Like he says in Raf's song, I did it all by myself. You wanted us to be that, right? And so now all of a sudden, you're saying, oh, why didn't the world come together to create a vaccine? It's like you can't have it both ways. You can't get mad at the world for not coming together to create a vaccine and push nationalism. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I don't understand what like. Because she has that in her, that bit of xenophobia and that bit of authoritarianism in her, where she went after the police very aggressively for things. She was talking about how like stop and frisk is a problem because it affects minorities disproportionately, but then she did very little about it. So she's all talk, and in this one she can get mad. She can get mad at like countries not coming together to create a vaccine, but when you during your 10 years prime minister push nationalism. I don't think you have much say over this, and the fact that she was another one that could have helped us with the PPE stockpile, but she didn't. We know there was obviously Gordon Brown's pandemic list that he created in 2009, and she would have been prime minister over the stockpile being replenished as well. Obviously, Boris Johnson took over from her, and so she didn't do that either. So she has some blame over this because there was I think there's a Project Ignis or something like that, which was. Took you long enough to figure that out. And so yeah, so May is a joke. Like fair enough. I'll give you credit where you talk about the domestic abuse situation. Fine, but at the same time, you're not going to get a lot of credit from me when you criticise the global community, especially when you push rampant xenophobia. You were the one who stopped the EU doing a trade deal with India because India wanted to make it easier for Indian students and people like that to come to the country. And you're like, what, brown people? Nah, can't be having that. So, sorry, May. Do you... Oh, shoot. Game glitched. Hello, guys. I'm here. Good luck with that. I'm having such a good conversation before the game glitched. Nice try, bud. Swing and a miss. Ah. So how much of a big man you are without your little gun. I think you were the one who made a big mistake, fella. Look who turns up. Oh, now I need to remember how to get in.
This rundown should have a hole in the wall or a broken window.
There it is. Yes, someone's joined. Is it Ellis? Is it Kanan? Who knows? I guess they would know. So
Fisherman with a grudge and a hook for a hand? Okay, where's that locked door? Jeff, you there? I'm doing my best to refrain from knock-knock jokes.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, got it. Smart, but I don't have anything that packs enough current. Stun gun, genius. Capacitors in this are just what I need for an upgrade I've been thinking of.
Yes, I do like the old electric webs. The electric webs are good. Damn you, Taskmaster. Anything else I can do? Nah, it's all logged. Anyway, so I've got like topics I've been covering. Mystery viewer. Get in. And so if you want, I can go back over them. I can just continue talking. That's up to you.
Sounds like you could teach me a few things.
I will take your silence as to continue talking about what I was talking about. Anyways, once they finish talking.
Kinda anticlimactic, huh? Looking for something specific?
Drugs.
This yard's been here a long time. Bootleggers used to use it back in the day.
Gotcha. These guys love their hidden rooms.
Check it out. Something hollow to you? I got a hidden pen. That's the one on the door. Conduits lead out the back. Look for another junction box.
Let's see if my mask lenses can pick up the conduits.
Alright, cool. I'll continue talking about what I was talking about then. So, pensions. So, a lot of the.
Hey, I doubt I would have found it without you.
Okay. You gonna interrupt me again, Spider Man?
Well, there's one secret I think you know. What is the thing about the room?
We can hide the doors, not disgrace them.
Keep an eye out for more of those.
Okay, so hopefully I won't be rudely interrupted like that again. So pensions. So a lot of the some of the veterans from World War Two.
Peters, straight, no door. One I can see anyway. Sit tight, I'll pull you up. Second floor, rusted machine parts, fake punk and rats.
Where?
Careful, the bridge is out.
I got this one.
Nice, stuck the landing and everything.
But not all tornadoes.
Fair enough.
Another secret door. I'll read them up. Let me know if you find the junction box.
Yep, on it.
Imagine being an engineer for this place and the junction box is all the way up here.
Found one. Nailed it.
Hell yeah. So yeah. Pensions. So need some help there, bud.
Hey, check this out.
Nothing. I'm starting to feel like this is Fisk's way of messing with me.
But look at the walls. They kept guns here. They wouldn't have moved them to the front door. Gotta be a passageway to this. Check out the wall. This might control access to another area.
Fisk's men were talking about a vault. We were close.
Better. Looks like a clean circle. See if we can find a second junction box.
Down. Can't be up, has to be down. There it is.
Found it.
Can't reach it. Wouldn't want that falling on me. Jeez.
You were right, Jeff. Trapdoor.
Man like Jeff.
Outstanding. Think you can help me out? This thing's heavy.
Jeez, but deadlift. Wherever. Oh. Whoops. Hold on.
1, 2, 3.
Oh. That did not look heavy.
Well, that isn't spooky at all.
Probably no good with this time.
It looks like no one's cleaned it since Apple.
Big chunk of concrete in the way. I can't get through.
Let me see how it looks from the top. Got room to maneuver here. Hang on. What was that?
Subway, man. Let's hustle. Place is unstable.
Okay, that definitely wasn't a subway.
No. Sounded like explosives.
And that sounds like demons.
Revolt! Hurry!
How do you get across faster than me?
Go! Go!
Damn. Demons are already gone. How'd they beat us here?
Must be a back door. See if you can find it. This place is one hell of a ride. For months.
Got empty crates here. And it looks like they took the ones they didn't clean out. They didn't want the non-lethal stuff. They passed up smoke grenades, flashbangs. Smash and grab. They were moving fast. There. They blew the locks to get in. Demons. Stay here.
Don't take both places, though. Some of these. Move. Get him!
Oh, one truck's gonna go away. We should probably radio in for help. Let's see what this thing can do.
That's what I'm talking about.
Fire! Stay clear!
Has he not got like a gun?
Look out!
Now you're just showing off.
There's a guy dodging bullets.
Oh, you missed. Fortunate. Crap, I hate these guys, man.
Thanks. I needed that.
Didn't really though, did I? You stay down. Where's the guy who's shooting? How the hell did you get up there so quickly?
Your timing is impeccable.
Oh, that worked. Oh, not bad. The video's out already. Oh my god, there's so many of them. I must put it out for 8. I think I was meant to go live at 6 though, to be fair. Oh well, so you can just watch it later, or watch it now if you get bored of this. Mystery viewer. Hopefully you watch it later and you can stay here and enjoy this riveting conversation.
How we doing?
Going up. I don't know how those are helping. Don't watch. Gee, powerful pistol whip, fam.
You okay?
I did notice there was something at that place.
I lose 2 trucks full of gunmen in one day. It's time to hang up the webs.
Moving way too quick for these men. God damn, how fast is this truck? Almost got ahead of it that time.
Not much better.
Oh my god. Oh, come on.
Keep so bystanders will get shot. I gotta get in close.
Doing my best, Pete. Okay.
Room for one more? Here's your shot.
Alley-oop.
Long time no see.
Oh, come on. And you're out. That's bad. That's bad.
Great. Now the three decides to run on time.
Oof, that's nice. Oof. Well, that was a great save. Jeez, powerful right hand.
We've now identified the officer as Jefferson Davis. We're being told he has minor injuries and is expected to make a full recovery.
Excuse me, mister. Who's supposed to be here?
More than you. After that auction house thing, the Bugle put me on the city beat, which means I get to focus full time on real stories like this. And the demons.
You know, the closer you get to them, the more you become a target.
The closer I get, the better chance we have to stop them. Officer Davis, Mary Jane Watson will be there.
Okay.
I don't believe it. But these guys are gonna tell their story with or without you. And they thrive on controversy.
So what's your end?
I don't have one. I just listen.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, looks like we're running out of time. I need to. How long has this been running for? Ha, 48 minutes. I didn't even realise. It's gone real quick.
Man, I'm weak. Time to head home and get some sleep.
Is my controller run out? Oh no. So, if we talk about the pension. So, a lot of pensions. I think they could they have been 45. The war ended. There would be. Yeah. Actually, what am I thinking? It was the last veteran to World War One. I think recently died, not World War Two, and so they were complaining, saying that their pensions have been frozen. I think if they live abroad, that they don't get as much as they could do if they live here for some reason. I'm thinking like that's the one thing that we do in this country really well is we'll applaud you and celebrate you, but we sure as hell will not give you money. We sure as hell will not give you a pay rise. We will not give you the right pension amount, especially if you live abroad. Your pension's going to be less anyways, because the pounds drop in value. You can't not feel bad for Peter. Like, he does his thing. He tries to help the world in science with science, and he still gets evicted.
Yeah, hi. I'm trying to track down some items that were accidentally picked up in a dumpster on Chicago. Hang on. 64476.
that sigh was the sigh a lot of people who work on phones make. And so let's go for, so we talk about pensions, and yeah, so that's the thing that they'll do in this country spectacularly well. Like, I would not be surprised if they barely gave nurses, doctors, and other healthcare workers any sort of financial increase. Like, I'd be very surprised if they gave them like an extra, like just a slight bit of money, which I mean like a couple hundred or something like that. I would not put it past them to do absolutely nothing from this and say, oh, we can't do it right now because of the economic problems we have. And so yeah, I'm not surprised that the VE Day veterans, or whatever you want to call them, they're not getting the right amount from the British government, because it's what they're like. It's what they do. I don't know if this was a problem with the Labour government as well. It could have been. And so yeah, I'm not surprised.
Okay, time to panic. Sorry, is there any chance the truck wasn't at the garage?
Sure, I guess. Just need to be somewhere in West Chinatown.
Great, I'm headed there now.
Hey, it's a long shot, but sometimes the guys stop for pizza before they drop off.
Really? I'll check out the pizza shops. Any idea which one?
One of the mom and pop joints, I think.
Jerry's?
No, that's uptown.
I mean, original Jerry's.
Oh, right. No.
Wait, I think I see the trucks. Thanks, Eddie. Should be some trucks close by. Nope, stuff's not here. There has to be another truck around here. No sign of my stuff. Maybe my only hope.
Not there either, huh?
You sure they were around here?
Well, the guys might have switched routes to the upcoming Osborne rally. If you pick up us on Route 35, we'll be dropping off at the incinerator right now.
Incinerator?
Over by Manhattan Bridge. Better hustle.
Well, thanks, Eddie. And so yeah, so the pensions thing, I'm not surprised about. The VE Day celebration's a bit weird. It's very nationalistic, and I'm really just not comfortable with it. So we spoke about pensions. Sunak's failure with the loans is another one where I gave him far too much credit in the video, in the podcast that Georgia and I did, and I did speak to Georgia about it, and she said that yeah, it's not looking. He didn't deserve a 6 at 10, and so basically he wanted the banks to guarantee some of the money, and so that just wasn't a smart idea, because the banks won't do it because it's a risk, and we don't know what the interest rates are going to be like either. And I think the first year it was meant to be a first year interest free loan.
Hey, mind if I look around for some personal items?
Sure, have at it. I gotta go file an incident report.
Hope you get hazard pay, my friend.
I wonder if these bags on my way. Yeah. That's it. Please be here. Yes. It still works.
Bro, at least like sanitize it or something.
Looks like everything's here. Look, old gadget prototype. Looks kind of awesome. Why didn't I ever finish it? I think I can make this work.
No, it's too hard. And there's gonna be goons here.
Look, it's that guy, Spider.
I am Spider-Man.
Ice.
No. I mean, I think this proves that I'm Spider-Man. So you can. I'm getting bashed about here. Oh crap. And so, yeah, Sunak has basically failed with the loans because he's like, oh, obviously the government can't take risks with taxpayers' money, but at the same time, if these businesses go bust, then there won't be a lot to go back to once once the country reopens. And so even if it is a risk, I feel like it has to be done. And they're best off doing it as a grant. You've got to put mechanisms in the way to make sure that the money goes to the business and isn't just taken by the owners of these businesses. And that you need to make some sort of invoice system or something like that where they have to prove that the money's been spent. So that's something. Shoot. So yeah, Sunak has failed because he tried to get the banks to guarantee the loans, and now he's saying, "Oh look, the government will do it, but it depends on the risk and all that stuff." So this is not the Conservatives aren't the party of small business and entrepreneurship. It's been patently proven not true. They're not going to help these people, and we already know that last month. It might have been 2 months ago, to be fair. I can't remember when the article came out. Like 1 in 5 small businesses running out of cash, and so he's still debating it now whether how to give these loans out. So a lot of these businesses, they're going to go bankrupt unless they can get rent moratoriums or mortgage moratoriums or whatever. They're going to go bankrupt. They're going under, and so if your job is with a small business, then it might be gone. Because the thing kind of brings me on to point 2 where he talks about how businesses are becoming addicted to the furlough thing. Businesses would rather be open, Sunak, because they would make profit. All you've done is stop them from paying salary. They still got to pay rent. They still got to pay rent and other costs, electricity, utilities and all that stuff if they're still open. Definitely still have to pay rent, so they're making a loss because their businesses are closed. What you've done is a great thing because they won't be let go, but at the same time you still have costs. And so so Sunak's failed. Talking about people being addicted to the furlough scheme. Get out of here. I think a lot of people would rather be at work. You're covering 8% of salary, but at the same time, if you're on minimum wage or if you're on a very low wage or you only work part time, that 8% is not going to go as far as it needs to. So there's that. Yes, finally got it. And so I think that covers this one. Also, school vouchers not being accepted at Tesco's because of scanning issues. And so, it's Black Cat, isn't it? I hate you. I absolutely despise Black Cat. Spider-Man 2 was basically consisted of me chasing her for like half an hour because I'm rubbish at chasing people, and she's hella quick. So that was that. And so, so if we go back to school vouchers, let's see if we can do a side mission so I can actually get through this without being interrupted by Pete. Is there a crime happening somewhere nearby? I feel like there was. Oh well. I'll let NYPD handle it. And so basically, the government have sent out £15 a week vouchers to families that have kids. Which isn't a lot in fairness. But if you're extremely frugal and know what you're doing in the kitchen, then you can make it stretch a bit. You won't be able to make the best foods in the world. I think Wolf Pit does. The Wolf Pit does good videos on that sort of stuff. Okay. Okay, so what are we talking about? With the vouchers, I don't know why the government didn't just send it to them, to people. Excuse me. And so if they sent it through the post, it would have been a lot easier. I suppose. What is it all the way up there for? If it's from a car. And so yeah, I think there might be an issue in printing, or maybe there you know, and the fact that a lot of poorer people, they're not going to have printers anyway, so it's a bit of a luxury. Like you'd go to the library to get stuff printed, which does in the long run does cost more, but in the short term it will be cheaper, hopefully. I suppose you can get cheaper printer for like 20 quid now. It's just getting refills, which is expensive. Anyways. What more we forget? So yeah, going back to the topic before I zoned out for a second there. So yeah, I mean, like stories of like parents, but essentially being extremely embarrassed. Like I can't imagine what it's like going to Tesco, especially because the queues are quite long, and then you know, going to the till, and then your voucher doesn't work. What are you supposed to do then? I don't. You know, I don't know, and it's.
Okay. Looks like we have 3 guilty parties. I'll need to get pictures of them for proof. One down. Taking pictures. Just like the old bugle days. Life was so much simpler back then.
So yeah, it must be like really painful to, you know, spend like, you know, time shopping, going to the till, and then your voucher doesn't work. Like that's just, you know, I think I had my card declined once, but that was a card issue rather than, you know, me not having money in my account. But yeah, you know, it's embarrassing, and like at that point, especially if you got a voucher as well, like people look down on that stuff in society, and I'm like, I really don't care. Like, I remember back in the day when I used to have like milk tokens and stuff like that, and you go to the shop and you exchange the token, you get some milk and that. Your government obviously stopped doing that because they're idiots. But yeah, you know, Thatcher doesn't want kids to have the Conservatives don't want kids to have strong bones, because it does alleviate problems later on. That's a nice car.
And the hatchery. All set. Now we're gonna recall orders.
What the hell?
Courtesy of your Earth-friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
What? So we do one more, and then I need to bounce. So Mehdi Hasan is a guy I looked up to for a long while. You don't see many guys in the media who are from ethnic minorities, especially like non-black minorities as well. Obviously, I think he's Asian. I think. What the? Bro, I just took a picture of a building. This guy wants beef. Who is it? Who wants it, fam? Oh, there's crime over there. And so, what was I saying? And so, yeah, like, I had a lot of respect. Like, he absolutely destroyed Anna Soubry on Question Time. It was magical. Where she was talking about how, you know, evil ISIS are with their beheadings and stuff. And then he was like, you do realise that allies Saudi Arabia also do that. And she was like, oh, that's cheap point scoring. And she wasn't expecting it. She wasn't expecting. I had a lot of respect after I saw that clip, and remember I sent that to one of my lecturers as well, because it was brilliant. And so you know, he wrote an article a few years ago saying why he misses George W. Bush, and I was like, I recently found this out, and I was like, yeah, no. And he was like, despite him being a massive warmonger and killing brown people in the Middle East, you know, he's still better than Trump because Trump attacks Muslims in the US and Bush didn't do that. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you, man? Like, oh, I don't care if like Iraqis die, but you know, if my man starts atting me, then I'm gonna be mad about it. And I'm just like, what's wrong with him, man? And he's been going on a massive tirade, like trying to promote Joe Biden as much as he can. And I'm just like, stop it. Like, he was, to be fair, he was Team Bernie at one point, and then he just became like a Biden bro, and I'm just like, what? In fairness, he has covered some of the Tyree stuff, but it's just like the way he's like, oh, it's on you guys if you don't, you know, he got into a lot of arguments with Carl Kalinske as well, saying like, you know, you have to back Biden, otherwise, you know, it's on you if Trump gets a second term, all the damage he's doing. And I think Carl Kalinske's point is that, look, Biden's got to give me something, you know, I'm not going to vote for him just because. And so
Street, the main street of Chinatown.
oh, I didn't know that.
Touristy, but great dim sum.
And so, yeah, so Medisan is another one. I'm going to do a video on that article. It's just stupid, an awful article, to be honest. You know, you're going to say you missed the... I think one person inside said he misses the Reagan era. You know, like... It's just, you know, the amount of people who died because of George W. Bush and people like Reagan and all those guys, you know, are you going to say you miss them because they made you feel good? Or they didn't make you feel as bad as Trump does? You know, it's just stupid. And the idea... I guess I'm going to do that head-to-head video. I mean, it's going to be... I think it might be slightly controversial. It might be a bit controversial, to be honest, but I haven't got much of a dog in this fight. I would rather, like... Well, I suppose if I spoil the video... I suppose it doesn't matter, actually, because I'm still going to have to get my reasoning. I would... especially if I lived in a swing state, I would think I'd have to vote for Biden. Purely because... you need someone who's at least a semi-decent human being to deal with the aftermath of the coronavirus. Like, I ain't gonna lie, he's an idiot, Biden. His brain is melting. But at the same time, oh my god. That's it, bro. You're gonna get it now, man. You think that was smart? And so, you want some? Nah, that's what I thought. Oh no. So we got a few minutes. So we'll just web around the city. If I get shot, I'll have to retaliate. And so, you know, Medisan's article is incredibly irresponsible. And it's just stupid, to be honest. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Some part of me does miss the Tony Blair era. I wasn't around, well, I wasn't really politically aware, obviously, through it, so obviously there's a lot of things I didn't know. Would I take Tony Blair over, you know, any of these Tory Prime Ministers? Obviously I would, but at the same time, like, it's not a high bar. You know, if you want real structural change, then you're going to have to go for a candidate who also wants real structural change. I don't know if Keir Starmer's that guy, but I'm hoping he is. I've got to have faith in him, you know. Hopefully, you know, we can believe more in the future than we did in the past, but at the same time, I don't have that much faith in a lot of these guys. But, you know, anyone would be better than Bojo the Wonder Clown, to be honest. And so, I think Medisan is just... I see his point, but at the same time, you can't rehabilitate people like George W. Bush. I know he was like, oh, I've written loads of articles saying that he's a horrible human being, this and that, but it's like, okay, but at the same time, you've said that you also miss him because he's not as bad as the guys we have now, and you can't really have it both ways. You can be like, oh, you know, I hate this guy, but it's like at least he's not as bad as this other guy, and you're just like, yeah, how about you stop rehabilitating bad human beings and just like, we want someone who's decent at least, and saying like, oh, this guy, he's, you know, 1 out of 10, I miss the guy, he's a 3 out of 10. It's like, no, you want someone who's decent. Like, you want someone who's a 6 or a 7. You don't want someone who's a 3. I don't care like how much worse Trump is compared to Bush. At the same time, both of them are war criminals. Both of them have killed innocent people who should never have died. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. Hopefully, you know, LS, Monta, whoever, Kanan, Zubby, or whatever. I know Zubby watched the back last time, or he was down the live stream. I don't know which one. He put quite a funny thing up when I was like, who cares about upgrades? And he was like, big man, you got the facilities for that though. That was quite funny, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I rate you for that. So this is just another live stream because, you know, I did done 101 videos, which feels like a massive milestone, to be fair, because it wasn't that long ago where I didn't really post anything on this channel, and now it's become like a large part of my life, and that so yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Shall I save these people first? Right, I'll save these people first.
Car wreck down there. Bad one. People could be injured.
Go on. In other news, I know that trains are coming back to normal. Where's the other person? Are they in the van? can't find the other civilian.
Someone's trapped in that car.
Oh, there they are. Oh crap, it's smoking as well. Super unnecessary.
I need to find whoever caused this wreck before anyone else gets hurt.
Oh, it looks like there's one more mission I have to do before I go. Fair enough. And so, yeah, like, Mehdi Sad is very intelligent, Oxford graduate as well. A guy who earned his spot very much. Oh, come on. And so, sometimes I suppose he's got that fear of, you know, obviously he doesn't want his kids to grow up in a country where, you know, there's that massive anti-Muslim rhetoric. But at the same time, like, are you saying it's fine if other people in other countries grow up with like drones and stuff flying around him? Oh crap. But you know, as long as the guy doesn't, you know, attack your kids, it's fine. You know, I just don't get it. You know, both of them are horrible. Don't use one to criticize the other. It's like when they're like, well, Johnson makes Trump look like a genius. It's like, no, he doesn't. He really doesn't. They're both stupid. They're both messed up bigly. And Bush and Trump are the same. You know, they both messed up. They both caused massive problems to their respective countries. You know, I think George Bush would have probably handled. Actually, I don't know if he would have handled the coronavirus any better, purely because he couldn't even handle something like Hurricane Katrina. Forget a pandemic. And the US has like hurricanes and all sorts of like natural disasters all the time. And so yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in him. Yeah, I don't get it, you know. And yeah, I'll have to leave it there because I'm going to have to eat in a bit. This has been the 101 video special. Shouts out to everyone watching, all the subscribers. And yeah, hopefully, you know, who knows, sometime later on in the year will be a 200 video special. And yeah, maybe I'll do a special every 100 videos, you know. You know, every 10 subscribers, every 100 videos. Those are small, but I guess they're good milestones to have. I don't know when I'm going to hit it. I guess if I do a video a day, I'll be in 100 days, but then I'll throw in a weekly live stream, don't I? So, who knows? Anyways, if you guys watch this back, mad respect. Mad respect to you, to secondary viewer, whoever you are. And yeah, I'll catch you later.